This is an Audio Wool original.
The Pentagon goes public with a new Project Blue Book.
Cannibal who bit penis bites the dust.
Was one of the most famous SETI research locations sabotaged?
Florida man threatens to do what McGruff the crime dog is too scared to.
You may have your eyes on the sky, but have you ever tried to contact aliens from your grandparents' living room?
And I may not have to leave my car, but I still have to leave my house to celebrate Halloween this year.
I'm Kelly, along with Byron. It's August 23rd, 2020, and it's been a weird week.
I hate how wacky you are with that. Why?
I just try and put my morning show voice on.
That's what this is? It's not a serious news
It's a morning
NPR.
show. It's like a morning show.
To me, it's...
Hey, speaking of morning shows, can I share a story before we get started?
Of course you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Went camping this weekend for one night. You'll be familiar with the lake, Salmon Lake. It's a nice lake, but, you know, as with most public campgrounds around here, you get a nice cross-section of humanity, maybe a little heavily weighted towards the twite rashy part of humanity. So my kids were running around last night in their pajamas with the other campground kids, back and forth and back and forth.
Wait, what?
Keep screaming at them to keep socially distanced. They were doing a decent job of it. But my oldest creature is wearing a pair of pajamas, top and bottom, that are a little bit too small for her because she's very tall. So she's got like baggy pajama bottoms that are all stretched out like that crummy cotton that stretches out, you know? They're like falling down off her hips. Half of her butt crack is showing.
This is supposed to be the hook of the show. This is like supposed to be the exciting part where people actually want to tune in.
And my right-wing uncle left American flag trucker caps for the girls on our front steps when he drove through this summer. And so Belle's wearing her American flag hat. She's only half dressed in pajamas. She's still half dressed in her clothes. So her pajama shirt is actually sitting by me, and instead she's wearing the white tank top she had been wearing, so it looks like she's wearing a white A-shirt. And my younger sister pointed out that my daughter looked like the offspring of Kid Rock.
Oh,
like
her name was
100% straight up Kid Rock, and so we got a really great picture of her standing by the fire looking like Kid Rock's pride and joy. You know, it has been a weird week.
Suddenly your daughter's running for governor of Michigan.
No, thank God she's not.
Well, that's
She's
nice.
She had a big political conversation with me on the way home. We talked a lot about Kamala.
Oh, okay. Well, let's try not to. I mean, come on.
Nope, I won't. I just had a conversation with her about it. I'm not even going to go anywhere with that.
I
Just
know.
had a
I think that's
conversation with her
great.
about Kamala.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. Other than that, you know, pretty decent week. How you been, B?
This isn't that. This is a news show. It's not the normal show, Cal.
I know, but you just gotta, you know, gotta check in.
Well, we could have done that before the show. I'm doing well.
I'm checking in with people too. I mean, yes, with you, but also with everyone else.
Okay, they can't respond.
Well,
okay.
they can. They can post. Send us a message. How you doing? I think Byron wants me to talk about Blue Book, I guess. He's yelling at me because I haven't started talking about my first story
Yeah,
yet.
that'd be awesome. Please. I'd appreciate it.
Well, for those of you who listen to our Behind the Screams on Tom DeLonge, A-Tip, To the Stars Academy, Harry Reid, and John Podesta, the whole weird geometric shape that is the connections between all of those things, you know that there have been some cool videos released recently that Pentagon finally stepped up this year and said, yep, okay, they're real. They're real. They aren't faked. We don't know what they were. And now the most recent piece of that whole saga, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, David Norquist, is going to oversee a UFO investigation task force, specifically investigating sightings by U.S. military aircraft. It's not as though they're necessarily going to be reporting and investigating civilian sightings, but rather sightings by the pros, you know, like the people that saw the Tic Tac or the Go Fast, the Tic Tac. Why can I never remember the name of the third one, Byron?
The Gimbal.
Gimbal. I knew Gimbals. Isn't that the name of the department store in A Christmas Story?
I think that seems
Or
right.
is it the department store in Jingle All the Way?
I think, well, it doesn't matter either way. We're months from that. Actually, we're
heavily into
Are we in the
Christmas
season? Oh, no.
Yep, it is the season for sure.
Okay.
But the idea is these could pose risk to military jets, to military bases. We all know the stories about the nuclear interference. So I just find this interesting. Again, who knows? It could be that the Pentagon really doesn't know what these UFOs are. Or it could be that parts of the Pentagon know, but not the part that's doing this investigation. Or it could be that they all really know, and this investigation is just nothing but a red herring. I don't know. But do you remember Red Herring from A Pup Named Scooby-Doo?
Please don't. Come on, stop. You didn't take your Ritalin today for some reason.
No, I did. It's just, it's 9.
Let's focus here.
Red Herring was on Focus. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Trump has made a couple comments about UFOs. I'm going to do a hard stop to keep myself from going into that any further.
Proud of you, yeah.
There are a lot. So these are the 3 reports that have been made so public and have videos to accompany them. But there are a lot of reports. Believe it or not, if you look at any article about this new task force, our good old pal, Tom DeLonge, his name finds its way into every single one of the articles that's been written this week about this new task force. So he clearly has firmly rooted himself in the middle of current UFO developments. We'll see what comes of this. I don't know. There's very little information about how much of the reporting is going to be made public. To be honest, the fact that it's an organization that they announced was going to be doing the investigation, as I hinted at in my headline, Project Blue Book was always basically a cover that there's nothing really going on. I would hope that this won't be the same thing, but my guess is it probably is going to be. And I guess I'm one of those people who has no doubt that there have been continuous investigations by multiple branches of our government since at least the 40s. To me, it's not a big surprise that somebody's investigating it. The thing that's surprising is that they're announcing it, which cynical, skeptical me says probably means that this specific task force is going to be Blue Book BS. But who knows?
Well, who knows? See. And going back to Tom DeLonge a little bit, he's been very busy lately. A lot more articles written about him. Just a couple of days ago, he shared a cryptic message, which had UFO researchers.
But what was the deal with that?
The
video was not a good video.
No, it was bad.
And it was an old video.
And he said, doesn't look, quote, supernatural to me, which I don't really know exactly.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Like, are people claiming that UFOs are ghosts? Because I don't think that that's a typical claim.
I mean, yeah. But also, big news for Tom DeLonge. He has skin cancer.
Doesn't everybody get skin cancer? Doesn't skin cancer just mean like you have a mole that you have to have removed?
I don't know. On Instagram, he posted a picture of him with a cream on his face and a hairnet on that says, "When you've had skin cancer like I have." Oh, I should be doing this all in his voice, right?
Yeah, excuse me.
I don't know if I can do it again.
Yes, you can.
When you've had skin cancer like I have, a little normal spot on your face must be lasered off with some advanced military weaponry. They also make sure you look like a fucking creep while you're waiting to numb for the procedure. The laser was approved by the FDA, and so is making this patient look like he had sex with a box of whipping cream.
Of course he would say that.
Yeah, he would say that. So,
typical man trying to be taken seriously. Here's the thing. Based on that caption that you read, I think that he, in fact, has had multiple instances of skin cancer removed from his body, and he does not have active
he's just saying that he's doing some preventative maintenance on his face, but interesting nonetheless. And also, he has been live tweeting unidentified. He's had a couple things saying like UFOs are scary.
What? Why would he tweet that?
I must be the only person at the TTSA who doesn't have a college degree. And I also wrote a song called Going Away to College.
Okay, why?
I mean, he's just discrediting himself, I suppose.
Yes, he's like moving further away from what he supposedly wants to move towards.
Well,
see, stuff like that makes me wonder if he is in on this disinformation campaign. I don't know.
I just think he's being himself. This is the guy he's always been, a bit of a dipshit.
Stupid.
And speaking of dipshits, Kelly, have you eaten yet? If so, that's good, because you're going to lose your appetite.
I have. I have. Although you should have told me before.
What? So you could do some sort of...
I ate way too much for dinner. My stomach kind of hurts now. If you had told me before, I probably wouldn't have eaten so much.
I apologize. This situation I'm about to talk about happened earlier this year, but it was just revealed last Tuesday at court.
Uh-oh.
David Kevin Loader, who was 59, he lived in Australia. He died January 11th of this year of a, quote, very aggressive cancer, and he was diagnosed with it only a few months before November of last year, which is what triggered this look into his last months. Officials are saying that even though you're in prison, you should still have checkups to prevent yourself from getting cancer. But all that aside, this guy, David, he was serving a life sentence for a 2001 killing of a man named George Martin. It's not George R.R. Martin, different guy. While in jail awaiting trial, other prisoners told the court that David, quote, boasted about the murder. A guy named Damon Hanilla, who was being held at the facility in Darwin, Australia, told the court that he thought David was joking about how he killed his victim. He said that he hit the person on the head with a rock, cutting off his leg, putting it in the fire, because he was at a campground, and cooked it.
Told you about campgrounds. What did I say?
Yeah. He then, quote, cut off his penis, put it in the fire and cooked it, and it tasted like chicken.
Doesn't everything taste like chicken? I feel like everybody says that everything tastes like chicken.
Chicken or pork, I guess. It's just the meats that we're so used to eating. But I mean, I don't know. Would human flesh taste more like... They call us long pig, human meat.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's close. Every cannibal story that I've heard where they eat the penis, which happens surprisingly often, they usually overcook it or completely burn it and are unable to eat it, or just eat it raw. But now I just have the visual of how you roast a wiener on a stick at a campfire, but this would be a human's. Another prisoner, Marshall Kelly, said that David told him, quote, I ate some of him and gave the rest to the dogs. Ugh. Yeah, this prisoner didn't think he was joking and decided to keep his distance while locked up, which is probably
Smart.
a good idea. I don't know. If you're in jail, people say a lot of things. They either say nothing about what they did or they go over the top to keep people around or away. What would your technique be? What would you do?
I feel like you should probably just make people very scared of you.
Like tell them that you ate a man's penis and fed the rest of the body to dogs, I guess.
Yeah, but apparently there's some validity to this story.
Yeah. Well, his lawyer didn't think so. His lawyer said that the allegations of cannibalism against his clients were absurd. He dismissed claims that he desecrated the body of George Martin, but was guilty of causing his death and burning the body, which I feel like anytime you burn a body, that's technically desecration. But I'm not a lawyer. If you know more than me, someone should send me an email, Byron@Frightday.com. I would love to know more about the law. Police arrested David after finding human bones at a campsite. And when arrested, he told police that he, quote, blanked out. And when he woke up, George was lying face up in the fire. He didn't believe that the man was clothed, spotted his knee sticking out of the fire. That's how he identified that it was a man. Seems a little contradictory considering, like, you see a body laying facing up in a fire. I mean, that's got to be a huge fire, right? To engulf a whole body?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm thinking like your average campfire size. I don't get that.
That's just a torso at most, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like small torso. Yeah,
tiny torso. But good thing David Kevin Loader is dead. I guess that's, okay. I mean, that's kind of where that story ends. But yeah, the man who ate some guy's penis is now dead of cancer. So
now, how much evidence do we have that might have actually caused the cancer? What comes to mind is Michael Douglas and his throat cancer. I mean, it feels like there could be.
I'm going to say there's no validity to the Michael Douglas claim about Catherine Zeta-Jones. And
I'm pretty sure that there isn't. I'm pretty sure that I don't know why she's still married to him after he said that.
That's pretty fucked up. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? If you know more than me, of course, email me again, Byron@Frightday.com, if you know that there's... Well, you could get Kuru disease. Well, did you ever see the movie The Road?
Yeah, read the book too.
I heard the book is much more gnarly, but there's scenes in a lot of cannibal films where you notice that their hands are shaking and you go, oh, that means that in the apocalypse they're eating other humans. Because what happens when you eat your own flesh, I believe, or it's just something that is in humans, it's a Kuru protein, and I'm speaking really out of turn here. I believe it creates a disease, a syndrome, some sort of reaction that causes you to shake, to develop tremors. But we should really do a cannibalism part 2 episode at some point.
Sure.
We had a lot of fun that first one.
Sounds great.
I feel like you took the lead on the last one. Why are you acting like that was all me?
No, I probably did. I'm just super grossed out.
Oh, we had a lot of fun. But leaving Australia, but for some reason still in Melbourne, we've got a 56-year-old man named Jerry Lloyd. He was arrested last Wednesday in Melbourne, Florida, after he called 911 at around 9 p.m. to report a, quote, drug house.
Yeah.
Not a terrible thing. There's nothing wrong with that if you found out you're living near a drug house to report it. But this guy, bit of a troublemaker, he wasn't really reporting the drug house as much as he was letting them know that he was going to blow it up.
What?
And I
Okay,
have...
first of all, why is he blowing it up? Second of all, why is he notifying somebody that he is blowing it up?
Well, he wanted to let them know that just in case they heard the boom, that it was him.
Interesting strategy.
I do have the 1.5 minute long 911 call, which I guess we'll just listen to that real quick.
Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Hey, good evening, young lady. Who is this?
It's the supervisor. What do you need?
What is your name?
Meredith, do you need police, fire, medical?
What is your badge number?
2854. Do you need police, fire, medical?
Give me 6 minutes in Sherwood Park. When you hear a boom goes off, there'll be a meth lab going off on Robin Hood by the ditch
Okay.
in Sherwood Park. Yeah, I'm getting ready to blow it up.
Oh, you're going to go blow it up? All right.
Oh, no, give me 6 minutes to get away.
Okay, I'll give you 7.
Yeah, I picked out. Hey, listen, they're doing back shit over. I was wondering why they was trying to keep me away from Sherwood Park. Now I understand.
Okay.
Now I understand.
Okay.
No, you know who I am?
Yes, Jerry. I think everybody in Brevard County knows who you are.
Oh my Lord, I gotta change my. I gotta do something. Anyway, give me 7 minutes and let me go do my job and get low with. I'm just gonna blow it up. It's in the woods on the ditch on Robin Hood,
Right.
by the ditch. Yeah, I know exactly where it's at. It's a meth lab, and let me go do it and just leave me alone.
Okay.
I didn't do nothing.
All right,
I
thanks.
didn't do nothing.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Bye.
Okay, to recap, give me 6 minutes to get away. And she said, all right, I'll give you 7. She's a real sassy operator, and I kind of like that. I love the line later on in the call. He says, do you know who I am? And she says, yes, Jerry. I think everyone in Brevard County knows who you are. He's just a bit of a troublemaker and obviously intoxicated as well. Officers later found him at a campsite in the woods and took him into custody. There were no body or bones in his campfire, though, that I know of. But he is facing one charge of falsely reporting a bomb and is currently being held at Brevard County Jail on a $15,000 bond.
That doesn't seem like that much. I don't know that much about posting bond, but it feels like you should probably.
I don't know. They also didn't find any bombs, so there's no real reason to believe that he was going to blow up this place. He was just, I think, bored at 9 p.m. at night. Just a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Where are we going next, Kelly?
Well, speaking of troublemakers, we have a as of yet identified troublemaker in Puerto Rico. Byron, if you close your eyes and you picture, I'm going to give you 3 different scenarios. One of them is going to have to bring an image to your mind.
Okay.
The end of the first of the new James Bond movies, GoldenEye, you remember that? And big, huge, giant satellite dish observatory place.
I guess I know it from the video game, maybe.
X-Files. This place showed up in X-Files a few times. And Contact.
Ah, okay, I know that one.
Okay, so we've got in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, the Arecibo Observatory was originally built in 1963. Huge, amazing, incredible facility, observatory, and one of the key locations for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. In 1974, they sent out a message to some star cluster that was like 25,000 light years away. Apparently, they're not expecting a response for at least 50,000 years. And we are now only about 45 years into that waiting period, which was probably because in 1974, people didn't know how hopeless our climate change situation was and that there was absolutely no way we were going to be around in another 25,000 years. Well, in 50,000 years, so whatever. But there's been a lot of hope and a lot of investigation here. And in fact, it was the largest single radio antenna on the planet until 2016, when a new telescope was built in China, and it was actually built with the exact same model. So they kind of like copied it and then just scaled it up. That's how incredible this is, that even nowadays, the model and form of this is top industry standard. So morning of August 10th, something very sad and very curious happened. A 3-inch thick cable, about 100 feet long, suddenly snapped, crashed through the antenna, damaged a little less than 1% of the surface of this 1,000-foot dish, what's very strange is even in the most reputable of news sources, nobody has a reason as to why this happened. In fact, the scientists on site seem very puzzled by the whole event. There is a huge investigation that's going to go into figuring this out because SETI was already pretty hard up for money.
Yeah.
They don't know if or when this will be fixed, which is a real big bummer. It really, really makes me sad. Like I said, this is the stuff of all of our alien searching pop culture dreams. You know, Jodie Foster sat beside that place, and so did Fox Mulder and James Bond. You know, maybe not the ideal search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but still, this is an important place.
Jimmy Buffett wrote a book called Where is Joe Merchant, which includes a character that once worked at the observatory. It's pretty cool.
Jimmy Buffett, bringing in the Buffett.
Yeah.
You know, that's a song. I need to sing a Buffett song one of these days.
Let's not do that. And also, there was an image used for the cover of Joy Division's Unknown Pleasures album cover, which was created by a radio astronomer named Harold Kraft at the observatory in 1970s as part of his PhD thesis.
Wow.
Yeah. That's that. I mean,
Okay.
you know that
That's great.
it's one of those poser shirts that everyone has, like the one with the waves and the spikes on it, the Joy Division shirt. Do you know that one?
Nope, sure
No.
don't.
Well, I mean, that's
I'm not a poser. That's why I don't know about
that's
it.
great. And if you're sad like Kelly about what's going on with SETI, you can go to SETI.org/donate and help support.
Please give them your money.
Yeah.
At least so they can figure out what the hell's going on here. Because not only are they surprised that this court broke, but it was actually just installed, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that. And it's only halfway through what they believe to be the life of this cable. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, it was really old and wearing out. They were at midlife for this cable. I'm very surprised that it had broken.
So let's talk theories. What do you think happened?
Tom DeLonge.
You think he slipped on a slice of pizza on the floor and fell into it or something?
Could be. Could be.
right, well.
Could be a chupacabra.
Okay.
Lots
Chupacabra-
of people theorize that the chupacabras, like the big feet, are actually connected to UFO sightings. Perhaps they were getting a little too close for comfort, so a bunch of chupa chups went in and chewed through that cable.
Okay, a group of chupacabras did it, huh? All right, well,
I wonder what a group of chupacabras would be called. Hey, I saw a funny meme the other day. You know what a group of Karens is called?
Oh, come on, really? What?
A complaint.
So we're speaking of complaints. I kind of misled at the beginning. I do like to go outside during Halloween. I don't know how I feel about this new drive-through haunted house trend. Haunted houses like this are popping up all across the country. Drive-through movies
Do you think
are
that our
cool.
local one's going to do that, B?
I would imagine they're not going to not make money for an entire year.
Well, yeah, but remember, there are lots of stupid people around here
right.
that just don't care.
Yeah, that's true. We'll probably open up full-blown...
We are opening full in-person school for most of our private schools and lots of the surrounding public schools next week.
Aren't we doing 2 days a week, though? And that means
For Missoula public schools, they're doing 2 days a week, but all the surrounding communities are full.
We don't need to
in-person.
talk too much about that. It is horrifying and scary, but
We're all going to die.
But speaking of horrifying and scary, folks who were disappointed to hear that all the major theme parks and haunted attractions weren't going to be doing their thing this year, Not Scary Farms, Universal Horror Nights got canceled entirely. You're in luck because a lot of people are doing these drive-through haunted houses, and I think it's going to be a thing. Orlando has opened the first contactless drive-through Halloween experience. The attraction is called The Haunted Road, which is pretty creative. One of the plot lines follows the story of Rapunzel, which is curious. Quote, as she journeys into a world of disarray, faces blood-curdling creatures, and hundreds of shocking scares.
I can think of 847,000 better base themes for a haunted house.
Rapunzel? Yeah, I mean, that is literally, there's a location. Are we driving
Don't get me
towards
wrong,
a
Mother
big...
Gothel's beastly, but still there's, pretty much any of the other Hans Christian Andersen stories would be scarier.
I don't know. I haven't seen any sort of Rapunzel stuff in a very long time, but to me, it seems like the bottle episode of any of those stories. It's got a single location for the most part, right? It's like in the tower and at the base of the tower, or does he sneak around and
No,
go
because
somewhere?
Rapunzel breaks out and then she goes into the bar and sings Oh, what song does she sing?
I don't know, it doesn't really matter too terribly much, but
I got a dream. I got a dream.
let's just hope that
I got a dream.
there's more plot lines. And I mean, you could do some really cool stuff with this, but like how many scares are just going to be like someone slamming their hands on your car? And are you really going to want someone touching your car window anyway? That seems like that's not going to help too terribly much. On their advertising for the haunted road, it says, only a thin layer of glass separates you from the scares. In an Instagram post, your car will be your greatest protector. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how they can do this. Like, unique scares, it has to come out of surprise. And how can they sneak up that many times to the side of your car? And someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get run over by a car.
Right, because there's the gas pedal.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like the driver going to be like not scared and not... this seems like, now more that I'm thinking about it, it seems like a horrible idea. And the team behind the haunted road...
The only way it would work, you know how when you go through like drive-in car washes?
Yeah.
And like you turn the engine off and you're just kind of like on a belt? Maybe they could do that.
Maybe that's what it is. That makes a lot of sense. You know what would be really cool? Oh, God, this is what people need to do. They need to do like the Betty Barney Hill or like...
Oh, yeah. See, that would be scary.
What was the movie that you made me watch the other week?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah, something like that.
Ice cream!
All right. But yeah, the team...
What kind of stupid kid thinks that a UFO is ice cream?
The team in Orlando is led by an executive producer and creative principal named Jessica Marico, who created the interactive, quote, drip experience on International Drive, which combined, quote, rock music and dance with an audience participation for 5 successful years. A guy named Nick Graves, he's a writer, producer, and director who also worked at Walt Disney Entertainment for 23 years. He's also on the team. So they got some professionals involved, and that's just one example of people who are doing this. Six Flags, I don't know how I feel about this. Six Flags was one of the amusement parks that did not pull their plug entirely for their Halloween celebrations. They will have scare actors, and they're going to stay 6 feet away from each other and the guests. So it better be the best of the best, because I don't know how they can get you without actively brushing against you, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they're not doing,
I don't know.
If they're not doing the Slipknot guitar player half head tilt with a mask right up on my face, it's not going to work. I don't see it working.
Slipknot face is very spooky, though.
Six Flags Great Adventure in an Instagram post said, come out for thrills by day and chills by night with rides in the dark and open air scare zones at Hallowfest. For your safety, attendance will be limited. Reservations go live for members and season pass holders September 3rd at 12 p.m. Daily tickets can reserve 3-4 at 12 p.m.
See, this is the way that I think they should go with it. Like, just embrace the elitism of it.
Yeah.
Make it only available to crazy rich people and turn it into something like the movie The Game, where like only 3 people at each location get a sign up, and somebody signs up to like have somebody they care about stalked, haunted, disturbed for a full couple of weeks leading up to Halloween. And it's like, you know, $15,000 a person or something like that.
And you can spend some of that money to test all the scare actors and the guests, you know, to make sure that everyone's okay. I'm curious. Remember McKamey Manor? Have I talked about that? It's the world's scariest haunted house. I'm sure we've gotten into it. There's like a huge long, they only accept canned dog food that goes to shelters, but you sign
So freaking cool. I want to know who funds that, and I want to give them money.
They've been doing it for years, but the haunted house itself, you have to sign like a 40-page waiver that gives away most of your rights. They say that they're going to do simulated choking. There's going to be vomit. There's going to be a lot of things. But what it is it's like an interactive horror film. They make it feel like you're going to die, and it lasts somewhere between 40 minutes and 2 hours. So that's something that, like, I guess you could do in this situation. If you really want to get scared, they may. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but that's the kind of scare that doesn't necessarily involve a lot of people. So hopefully they could appropriately test everyone that's participating, and you could get your thrills and chills and scares that way.
Everybody just please be safe.
Yeah, because I want to have fun this year, and it's going to be weird. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not even going to be that hopeful. I was going to say hopefully things will get better by then. They are slowly getting better, but they're not going to be fine.
No, they're not. They're going to be worse by then, Byron, because everything's opening up. It's going to be worse by then.
Please.
We very well may be on like shelter in place again by then.
I really don't want to think about it. Can we just talk about the last story of the day?
Yes, this is a really fun feel-good story, okay, everybody?
Thanks.
I don't know how many of you have watched it, but there was it's actually only like 15, 16 minutes long, a short that debuted last week on Netflix.
And I'll start it up. And we'll start generating. I started building the electronic equipment to make contact with whatever might be out there beyond the Earth.
John has a very special mission in life. He is trying to contact aliens.
It grew to encompass an entire bedroom. That equipment continued to grow. I built this 2-story high deep space transmitter. It allowed me to reach deeper and further out into space. So I was always seeking to explore, to look beyond what we have here.
My interest is in finding out the unknown. And you search and you continue searching because of your desire. Because of that, you know there's something there.
It's this very interesting short movie, about a gentleman named John Shepard, who fell in love with the idea of contacting aliens and specifically sending music to the aliens. He had a pretty traumatic young life and ended up living with his grandparents. Actually came to the conclusion that he was gay when he was 12 years old, and he lived in rural Michigan. That was a little bit difficult, as it is for many young people even today, especially back then. This was kind of a fascination that he dug into. His grandfather helped him assemble some of his equipment. His grandmother was really into it because she was super interested in the alien research as well. It's just this very sweet story about this interesting guy walking to the beat of his own drum. It could potentially be very sad if it weren't for something we find out about him later on, like maybe a little past midway through the story. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but in case it sounds like a Debbie Downer, it's not. Highly recommend you watch it. The spirit of exploration is definitely strong in this one. And man, I'd love to sit down and have a socially distanced cup of joe with John. He seems just like a glorious man.
The music he was sending out, though, he was also like very eclectic, which is
like some jazz, some weird experimental German music.
Sun Ra, Orient, Coleman, John Coltrane.
Yeah, that's the jazz part. Yeah. I think he was kind of just being a DJ to the stars, which is cool.
That is kind
to
of
think
fun.
About.
Yeah.
There's a quote that I really would like to read to Byron. It kind of reminded me of something that he would say, or that Sam would say. He compared his life journey to a trek along a lonely mountain road.
I don't think I would ever say that, but I do feel it sometimes. I'll give you that.
And it's cute. Watch it. It's a really fun story. You can take a lot of different directions with it, but this guy had some cool stuff set up. Sadly, it is no longer assembled and functioning, but I have to believe that somebody watching this short with an abundance of money is going to say, hey, I want to buy all that stuff he has sitting in storage. I'm going to fire it all up again, those high-powered microwave tubes and transmitter accelerator, and see if I can be a DJ to the stars now.
The Voyager Golden Record was far too limited in what it put out. I mean, it had a lot of information on it, but it's not as good as directly broadcasting to extraterrestrial life.
And as we know, a lot of really super intelligent people on Earth have very strange, eclectic musical tastes, so they aren't necessarily going to be down with the mainstream selections of the Golden Record. But if somebody can continue John's work and send out weird, esoteric music, we might be able to nab one of those aliens and suck them in with our musical delights.
You know, you always hear the phrase, "we are not alone." For these lonely people like John, it could make him feel less lonely to be sharing with extraterrestrials, you know?
Exactly.
It's kind of nice.
That's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like doing this. We should do this. I know a long time ago we said we were going to do this once a month. We really should. I like it.
Especially weeks like this. I'm just proud of us. Do you know we didn't do one political story?
Well,
so proud of us.
We edged on it, but I pat my back.
I mean, I think all of us are going to need some distraction from politics, no matter what side of the fence you fall on, between now and November.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be all we hear about. So we're going to need something else to listen to once in a while. Some other bit of news going on in in the universe.
I'm going to pledge to not talk about well, we are going to probably, before the election, do some sort of Patreon Screamium episode like we did before the last election, which did set us up for horrible disappointment and despair. But I'm not going to talk about QAnon or politics on the main show until after the election. It'll help me and it'll help everyone else.
Don't you feel like you should tell everybody to ignore QAnon?
Yeah, please, Scott. I've invested like the past 3 months of my life into researching it, and now it's this massive, explosive topic, and I gotta tell you,
Great
ignore
Americans.
it. It's bullshit, and they're terrible people. They will try to trick you into thinking that they're saving the world. It is not true. Don't pay any attention to anything.
Well, and
these
even more
people
sad
say.
is a lot of people have been tricked into believing this.
Yeah.
There's actually, I didn't talk about it, but there's a really interesting article that I read this week about literally inoculating your work team, and I suppose you could probably extend it to family and stuff like that, against crazy conspiracy theories, which I'm sure there are people out there that are like, Kelly, what are you talking about? Again, I would like to draw a line, a difference between like fun adventure investigation minded conspiracies and questions about our place in the world versus destructive evil conspiracies that are not only patently false but actively hurt other people.
Yeah, we all like conspiracy theories. It's the first phrase after your name in your segment. No, it's actually
It is.
second. It's the second of the two. I don't know how I goofed that up. We like that, but this is damaging. It's dangerous, and it's spreading, and it needs to stop. People can't have any more tolerance for this, okay? It's done.
Yeah.
We're done.
Everybody be safe. If you're wondering whether a conspiracy is valid or not, shoot me a quick email.
Sure. Kelly at Frightday.com.
I'll let you know.
And they can also tweet you where?
At Kelly Frightday on Twitter.
And I'm at Byron McKoy on Twitter and Instagram. Byron at Frightday.com is my email address. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. Stay safe, stay scared, and have a weird week. You've been listening to an Audio Wool original, produced by Byron McKoy, theme music provided by Cemeteries. For more programs like this, visit audiowool.co.